Alexis Gonzalez, Norma, yes. Sorry. And State, I'm just waiting for your person to zoom back in for the restitution hearing. All right, where are we on the PTD? And Alexis Gonzalez, you need to unmute and start video. Yes.
So he did get accepted into the program. I conferred with Andrew on it. There's just a term to make sure that he's allowed to be supervised while he's residing in South Carolina. So we're just confirming all that. He already emailed the necessary parties. So once he gets word back from them, then it'll be
All right,
signed.
when would you all know whether or not he can do this out of county?
If you can recall us in maybe a week or 2 weeks.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a 2-week reset on Alexis Gonzalez PTD, please. He's out of state or out of county?
Out of state. South Carolina.
Okay. All right, thank you. He can appear by Zoom.
Okay, and I'll call him.
Okay,
Thank you. You take care, Judge.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Alexis Gonzalez, you're excused. You're welcome. And Norma, you said February 6th?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and I'm so sorry. Irene, who's your client?
Kindell Smith.
All right, could I see the file on Smith, please? Hello, what is your name, sir?
Kendall Smith?
Yes.
Step up.
Go ahead.
What's your middle name?
Deshaun?
It may be under, they may have filed it under Deshaun. And counsel, which case are you seeking the bond for? Is that the 12136?
Let me pull it up, Your Honor. There was a violation report that was submitted, and this was set for a hearing on the violation report.
Okay.
And I was gonna request that he be continued. He does have a residence where he's able to reside. It would be on, yes, the 12136.
She says it's a violation report. All right, so it shows that he has the violation report. But what is he, I don't understand why he's in custody because it doesn't show that the PR bond was revoked.
No, but on his under misdemeanors in County Court 9, I believe his bond was revoked in that case, in those cases, and there was a new bond amount that was issued, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, so do you know why he's not reporting? They say he was discharged from the program for not reporting.
His phone wasn't working for a while. I also know that he was no longer homeless. He had found a residence. He had given his address to, I believe, pretrial and the program at Haven for Hope. But I believe that's when his phone stopped working, and he was subsequently picked up on the violation report in County Court 9.
All right.
But he does have a residence that he can go to, Your Honor.
All right, have you conferred with the state on the underlying case? Have you conferred with them on this possession less than a gram?
I have conferred with them, and they have submitted an offer, but I would like to review the evidence some more with my client prior to advising him on any kind of plea.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on this case?
Yes.
We're going to recall this for the week of January 27th. What day? How old are you?
20.
All right.
I can do the 30th.
All right, we're going to recall this case for January 30th. And then with regards to this violation report, this isn't on the record.
Yes, ma'am.
You need to report to pretrial services, period. That was a condition of your bond. It's not a condition that I said, it's a condition that another judge said. You just can't disappear. If you're on bond, you have conditions of bond. Do you understand?
I do.
So what I'm going to tell you is, and they're saying that you need to comply with the special needs conditions of Center for Healthcare Services. Have you made contact with them?
No,
Did you ever make contact with them?
I was trying to.
Well, I mean, Center for Healthcare Services is pretty, pick up the phone and call.
I didn't know the number or anything like that. My phone just stopped working.
Have you ever had treatment before? Have you ever seen a psychiatrist before? All right. This is what's going to end up happening. Counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. Just one moment. Thank you, Norma. Touch with pretrial services upon your release.
Yes,
They're
ma'am.
probably going to release you at midnight, but when they release you, the very first business day during business hours, you need to contact them. Do you understand?
I'll be.
So Norma, I'm going to put on here, and your attorney will give you a copy of this, that you need to report to pretrial services no later than Friday, the 24th.
Got you.
And
Yeah.
also, Norma, if you'll give him a reset form for January 30th.
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor,
Yes.
can it be included that he's allowed to live at his residence and not at Haven for Hope? It's my understanding that that was a confusion.
Lives at the residence with you.
My, my family. my
All right.
wife.
Are there any children in the household?
No.
All right. All right, Deputy Laura, can you give him a sheet of paper? And I want you to write down your address on that sheet of paper that Deputy Laura is going to give you, and I'll include that in the order. And Norma, if you'll give him a reset.
Yes, ma'am. I have a premier.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Is there anything else, counsel?
No, nothing further from me. May I be excused?
Yes, you may be excused.
Thank you.
The court is calling 2024 CR 012263, State versus Miguel Contreras Jr. Can I have parties announced for the state?
Andrew Harris Edelman.
Defense?
Amir Mamori.
And are you Mr. Contreras?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Contreras, do you have any objections to your counsel appearing
No,
by
ma'am.
Zoom?
No, ma'am.
All right. State, any objections to the defense counsel appearing by Zoom?
No objection, Your Honor.
Counsel, have you received all discovery?
I have, Your Honor.
And did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Contreras, did you review the application for deferred adjudication with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor, waiving the repeat offender enhancement allegation.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Mr. Contreras, did you review court admonishments with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, I do. Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with evading arrest detention with a previous conviction? That's a state jail felony.
Yes.
Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
If you have a plea with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
No. Yes, excuse me.
Okay, no
So-
problem. Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility
Yes,
and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Contreras, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Hmm.
According to the plea, the state recommends deferred adjudication. Did you understand that to be the plea? Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor, with one caveat, there are two misdemeanor cases that the state will take into consideration that I failed to note on the bargain page.
Any objections to the court writing those numbers in, defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and which case numbers are you taking in consideration? Would it be the resisting arrest, search of transportation, and failure to identify?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right,
2024 PF 13390 and 2024 PF 26344.
all right, so how they have it listed on the docket sheet?
As 2024 CC 740762 and 2025 CC 000160, Your Honor.
Yes. So are
Yes, Your
those the correct numbers?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so the state will be taking in consideration 2024 CC 740762, which is a resisting arrest, search, or transportation, and 2025 CC 000160, which is a failure to identify. Did you understand that to be the plea, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in both places? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 4 years. Did you understand that's a recommendation from the state and the court does not have to follow that recommendation? Then to the offense as charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
Contained in Exhibit 1 and attachments, Your Honor.
Any
No
objection?
objections.
State, you may
objection.
be excused. Did you review the waiver and consent with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places? Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent? Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, state. There's a page 2 of the police report is missing. Mr. Memori, do you have any objection to the state amending the waiver to include page 2 of the police report?
No, Your Honor.
All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Do you wish to proceed with sentencing, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, is there anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
That we respectfully ask the court to follow the agreement between the state and defense.
All right, do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
They were born 2006, 8, 10, and 12.
I'm sorry, what?
2008, 6, 10, and 12.
Okay.
6, 8, 10, and 12.
Okay, sorry.
Every 2 years.
All right, and do they live with you?
No,
When's the last time you've seen them?
it's been about 5 years.
Why so long?
I was in prison.
Okay,
And ever since then, I haven't seen them since.
all right, how far did you go in school?
I was graduated high school and went to the Marine Corps when I got out.
And how did you went to the Marine Corps? Was that was that an honorable
I
discharge?
got a back counter discharge.
I'm sorry?
A back counter discharge.
All right. So how did you go from being in the Marines to being here?
Long
What
story.
happened?
There was a grand larceny case that I didn't report, and I ended up going to the brig for it, and then between then and to me getting out of the brig, I had 8 charges stacked on me. I was facing 33 years. They lowered it down to accessory after the fact and failure to report grand larceny, conspiracy, whatever.
So when you were released, from the brig and when you're out of the military, how do you keep picking up cases here? What's going on with you? Is there a mental health issue? Is there a drug issue?
Homeless. Homeless. I really don't have a place to stay at the moment.
Well, the problem is once there are some issues, I don't know if the military or if there are any issues available for you because of the way you were released from the military. We can have somebody come down and see. But Sean, can you see if Herman is able to come down and just to talk to him? You're not going to qualify for Veterans Treatment Court or anything of that nature because of it's not an honorable discharge from the military. So what are you planning on doing with the rest of your life?
I'm not sure yet.
Do you have something for me?
Dismisses, Your Honor, may I?
Yes. Well, I mean, how old are you?
I'm 40.
All right, you have to come up with some ideas. Otherwise, we're going to see you back here.
Understand.
So has there been any type of drug use with you?
I smoke,
What do you smoke?
some meth sometimes, and some marijuana,
All right, you say crystal meth and what?
cigarettes.
You say crystal meth, cigarettes, and marijuana?
Yes, ma'am.
When's the last time you smoked crystal meth?
Before I got arrested, not too long,
Mhm.
but I don't do it. I don't. I don't want to say I'm not addicted, but I don't.
Well, how often were you smoking?
I'm sorry.
How often were you smoking meth?
Maybe like twice a week,
Okay,
at least, maybe.
all right. So this is what the court is going to do. Court is going to follow your agreement, 4 years deferred adjudication. Counsel, I don't want him to be unsuccessful on this, so I'm going to do a TAP evaluation and do it in custody. It shouldn't take that long for the TAP evaluation to be completed, and we'll follow TAP recommendations.
Your Honor,
Yes,
may I present to Mr. Contreras copies of these?
yes.
Thank you.
There's going to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs, proof of employment within 35 days of release, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors, 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to require parenting classes. Once he completes that, then 100 hours will be deemed satisfied of the community service restitution. The other 100 hours will be deemed satisfied if you complete some type of trade school or something to better yourself. You understand?
Yeah.
Or if you go to college. Field visits 1 time per month.
What's the field visit?
Oh, they're going to come out and visit you at your
Okay.
home, probation. And that's going to be until further notice. Taking consideration 2024 CC 740762, 2025 CC 000160. Probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful? We can go off the record, sir. In this court, to be successful on probation, communication is key. Make sure that you stay in touch with probation. If you feel that there's an issue they're not addressing, you can always come back to the court. Do you understand? The other thing, if there's a sidewalk that is provided, you must walk on the sidewalk. If you are not walking on the sidewalk, the police can stop you. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you.
Judge, what day are we coming back for the TAP?
Oh, there is no day to come back. If the TAP evaluation recommends inpatient treatment and you all don't agree with that, you can ask the court to set it on the docket.
Thanks, Judge. May I have excused?
Yes, thank you.
And Judge, you'll be good.
Come down, sir. All right, today is plea deadline date. So is this going to be a jury trial?
Judge, I have, my investigator, who I just recently got appointed, came up with some new information that I would like the opportunity to share with the district attorney to see if we can do a new plea bargain.
Mhm.
So I would be asking for a couple of weeks to share that information, Judge, to review it and to share it.
And it's my understanding, Your Honor, that defense just recently got them like yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct,
So
Judge.
we would also like an opportunity to review what she has received.
All right, this will be your final plea deadline date. Ms. Ferguson, 3 weeks. All right, February 13th.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. Okay, Alan, who's here for Alan?
You mean Jonathan?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, State, did you have a chance to talk to the complainant in this case?
We did, Judge.
All right, so are we still on the same page, or do you all want to talk to public integrity?
This time, oh, sorry.
Yes.
Judge, we've reviewed actually in the meantime, in the interim, the prior statements and prior videos, body cam, those kinds of things from the original offense states. I'm going to talk to Ms. Kane about what's going to be entailed to go forward with the conviction integrity unit. I'm pretty familiar with them. I know what they're going to kind of require. I don't know that it's going to be something to go forward, but it's obviously something that she's wanting to do. So I think it might be something that I'll let her at least talk to them and point her in the right direction. I don't know if it'll be successful, but we'll point her in the right direction, Judge.
All right. So where we are is the no harmful or injurious contact. My understanding is that the request is that the no contact order be lifted. And the reason why that no contact order is in place is due to the nature of the case. So State, are you in agreement to removing that or no?
We are not, Judge.
Right.
Not only due to the nature of the case, but also due to the behavior that's exhibited in this supplemental report, the not abiding by the no contact order in the first place, and also his discharge from Salvation Army for disorderly conduct. And the state has been made aware that maybe his medication is not stable as well. And so for those reasons, the state is concerned for the complainant's safety and would object to changing.
All right, so do all parties agree that there's some mental health issues going on in this case?
Yes, Judge.
So here's my question, and I'm not going to say he's in violation of the no contact order today. How did he get here today? Did his mom bring him?
He did with permission from probation.
Okay,
It's something that she screened because he doesn't have any other transportation. That's part of our problem here. He can't get to his psychiatrist to be able to get the proper medication. So, and to get evaluated for that medication because he can't get there. The only medication he's getting right now is through MIC. And it is,
do they have,
not Cymbalta. It's a newer generation bipolar medication to treat his depression. The problem we have though, is that he has a schizophrenic component as well as the bipolar depression. So he's essentially a schizoaffective disorder, bipolar type depressed. So he's got to have an antipsychotic that gets added into that mix.
so is he able to take the VIA bus?
In his current state, probably not.
Okay,
I don't know that he can navigate that, Judge. And that's part of our problem. He's currently residing in a house that is owned by his mother, but is not with his mother.
okay,
His mother is the guardian of his children, and she's very protective of them, especially if Mr. Allen gets into a state where, you know, he's having his symptoms being exacerbated. She's very conscious of making sure that those kids are protected. And it's mostly just from seeing him in that state where they would be confused and not be able to understand what was happening.
all right, do we know if Center for Healthcare Services provides transportation?
They will if you are involved in one of their FACT Act or AOT programs.
Yeah.
But you got to be involved in one of those programs in order for them to be able to provide that kind of a service. Honestly, Judge, to address the issues that were raised, he was staying at Salvation Army. My experience with Salvation Army is if you don't go out and work for them, they're going to kick you out. If you don't give them your food stamp card, they're going to kick you out. Because that's basically just kind of how they operate and how they make money to fund what they've got to fund. I don't know what happened. I don't think any of us have. We don't have that evidence in front of us. But my client needs a place to live and he needs a way to get treatment. That's
Mhm.
really what we're talking about. He's not gonna be living with her. He's not gonna be, in a constant contact or anything like that. We just want it so that if he needs some help, she can provide that help to him.
Well, who stays with the children if if she's transporting him?
She's, right now, she was supposed to pick them up from school. She made arrangements to get, friends of the family to do that. And so she's got arrangements, and has people that can watch, the children. And they're school age, so they're in school during the day.
So what is the answer to this issue? Because I'm looking for transportation now for persons who are suffering from mental health issues. And I'm not finding anything in San Antonio.
There is,
I don't know that the state can speak to that. All the state can speak to is the concern for the safety of the victim in this case. And that's where my concerns lie with putting them in contact with each other. I don't know if maybe the other family members who are watching their children can maybe instead take the defendant. That might be an option.
what I would say, Judge, and it's probably is, and please don't take this the wrong way,
No.
but one of the allegations is that Mr. Allen's been in contact with his mother
Mhm.
repeatedly. And I think that even says, in the probation's, report that they got us here today,
Mhm.
that he is not, and it's hard for him to really understand that order. But what I would say is, despite all that, there's been no incidents of
Mhm.
any kind of violence or any kind of aggression or anything during this whole time.
Just so the record is clear, the disorderly conduct was noted in the supplemental report. So I don't want to disagree with Mr. McLean, but I don't think that's entirely accurate. I was speaking with probation and they do have an option for transportation.
Okay, yes.
So we did have a presentation by the Access Program, which is through the Center for Healthcare Services.
Mhm.
And from what they relayed, it's a branch out from the MIC program.
Mhm.
So they do offer transportation services if they're accepted into that program. I don't know what the screening would entail. I'm sure if he's in the MIC program, there's probably likely that he could be in with the Access Program as well, but that would be something that we could send a referral and see if they could assess that. But as you know, it goes with the center and whatever appointments he has with their case managers.
Oh, and we have someone here in the courtroom now.
Go look around.
Renee, come forward. All right, so we're trying to find transportation for him. Mental health issues.
I was looking, Judge, I couldn't help it over here, Via Trans also, is through with the Via bus system, but for people with disabilities that can't make it on a normal bus, so I don't know if that's maybe an option as well. But if you're looking for a particular program, I would guess need some more information, but.
And I will tell you, my concerns are the same concerns that the state have, because we're here for an injury case. And then we're having transportation. Today, everything is great. But what if everything is not great with the contact?
And I honestly, Judge, I share the same concerns, but having spoken with Mrs. Kane and her being so adamant that she does not have these concerns, to some degree alleviates my concern. I understand what the court's saying, and as we all know, mental health situations can change quickly. But my concerns are for my client, getting him the services that he needs in the most expeditious way that we can, and in a consistent way. And frankly, I just think that his mother being able to provide that to him would do that. Obviously, if there's some sort of harmful or injurious conduct, he's coming back and he's talking to you and he's
Well,
looking
let's
at
bring
10 years.
let's bring his mom forward. Thank you, Renee. We're going to go on the record. The court is calling 2022 CR 11097 State versus Jonathan Kane Allen. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ashley Jones?
Defense?
David McLean for the defense.
All right, and is that your client, Mr. Allen?
It is, Your Honor.
All right, and we are here because the defense, through the defendant's mother, wishes to have the no contact order lifted and have it changed to no harmful or injurious contact. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, and the mother, if you would like to call her as a witness?
I would, Your Honor.
Name?
Yeah. Do we need to swear her?
Yes, I'm going to swear, but if you'll
Okay.
call her name for the record.
Absolutely. The defense calls Sally Kane.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
Sally Rebecca Kane.
All right, just one moment.
C-A-I-N.
Excuse me, in the back, if y'all can just ask the deputy to move you to the back row. All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Kane, how are you related to Jonathan?
No.
Make sure you speak up nice and loud. This young lady over here has to hear everything.
I'm
we're
his
saying.
mother.
Thank you. At this point, is there a no contact order in place where Jonathan is not able to have contact with you?
I've never actually seen it or known about it except for hearsay.
Okay, but to your knowledge, there is one in place?
Yes, I believe so, from the probation officers. Remark.
Okay, and are you concerned for your safety being around Jonathan?
No.
Let me ask you this, does Jonathan have a mental health issue?
He has the very worst. He has bipolar acute schizophrenia, which is voices, monsters, grandeur, contracts for record deals, those kind of things. And the reason that Jonathan is in this situation is because his illness escalated and the medicine couldn't cover it. And he actually went off the rails before we could get into a doctor.
Okay, and so at this point, are you asking the court to remove that no contact order?
I am. And it's very important to me to go to the appointments with Jonathan because I am an observer of the symptoms, the frequency of them, and seriousness of them. And I know the psychiatrist that I used before.
And you realize that if there was another episode where Jonathan perhaps became unstabilized again, are you concerned that he would become violent?
No, in fact, he's a little bit unstable now. The medicines that he's on are not hitting all marks.
Okay, what medication is he currently on?
You want to pull my phone out?
Is that okay, Judge, if she looks?
Sure.
Yeah, you can refresh your memory,
Oh, as far as the medications?
just for the medication.
Sure.
I had it here just from you earlier, right?
It's in the text.
It's in a text? Well. Okay. Caplita.
Okay, CAPLYTA.
And this is 42 milligrams. And Jonathan, do you take one? Takes one.
Okay, and so, to your understanding, is Caplyta a medication for bipolar?
I'm not aware, I'm not familiar with it. It's a
Okay.
new medication to me. But that's the way it works when you start a new medication. You observe it and then you adjust it.
Okay, do you know if he's taking any kind of an antipsychotic other than the Caplyta?
No,
Okay, all right, and so, does he receive that medication from his psychiatrist or does he get that through the MIC unit?
gets it from his probation officer.
Probation, okay.
Yes.
Is it your desire that he be able to see his regular psychiatrist and get back on medication that will help him with his mental health issues?
Oh, yes, because he's like actually the best in Texas, Dr. Zufrow.
All right,
He used to be in charge of Texas Mental Health Organization.
in the event, let's say the judge lifted this no contact order and there was a no harmful or injurious contact. In the event that Jonathan actually became aggressive and assaulted you, would you hold the state of Texas harmless and not liable for lifting this order?
Absolutely.
With that, I'll pass the witness, Judge.
Any questions?
Not from the state, Your Honor. The state would ask that, we go off record for just one moment. We can
Yes.
find out some information.
All right, yes, we're off the record.
Uh,
Oh, sure. Yes, the witness is excused.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Are you all ready?
Yes.
All right, I'm ready to make my ruling unless you all have anything else you wish to add.
Just the information that we did find out from probation, and just for the clarity of the record, is that there was no permission given for Ms. Kane to bring the defendant here today. The permission given was that she could attend the court hearing only. And so I just did want the court to have that information.
All right, so this is what the court is going to order. There's to be no contact. The only exception to the no contact order is the following. She may transport him to his medical appointments and court hearings. And there's to be no contact with minors. Mr. Kane? I'm sorry, Jonathan Allen Kane? All right, these are the court's orders. The only time you can have contact with your mother is if she is transporting you to your medical appointment or to a court hearing. Do you understand?
I want to appeal this to the Supreme Court,
Okay.
and I was told not to say anything by Director
No,
of
you
FBI.
can still appeal it, but for
Judge
now,
Bolton.
until that appeal is taking place at the US Supreme Court, my orders are the only contact your mother can have with you is if she's taking you to your medical appointments, which I think both parties are agree that he needs to take his that he needs to see a psychiatrist
Yes,
and
Judge.
that he needs to stay on his medications.
Your Honor, could I request one other thing?
Right.
And I understand that's for physical contact, being in proximity of each other, those kind of things. Is it possible that they could at least communicate to each other via phone or text?
No.
How would she make arrangements?
My
to
understanding
do
is that she has the information about when his medical appointments occurred. That's what, off the record, we spoke about, that she does have that information, so she knows when his medical appointments are. So the only exception for her having contact with him is for his medical appointments, his court hearings. He's not to have, and he's not to come to her home. And when I say come to her home, I mean the home where she is residing with the children, and there's to be no contact with the minors. And yes, sir, you can appeal to the Supreme Court. Your attorney will tell you how to do that.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate
All
your
right, thank you.
consideration. Thank you.
Yes.